Welcome back to It Was Never a Phase Cards. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the current state of the market, where things are at, my approach, how I'm handling it, all of that stuff. We'll also talk about some Legends ZA stuff. And as I started to look at things, I realized we're kind of at that 1 year point with this current crazy bull market that we've been in. It's been about a year since things really started ramping up, going crazy for surging sparks. And I kind of wanted to reflect on that a little bit, and from that point to where we're at now. And I mean, it was just wild to think. And I genuinely believe it started a little bit before surging. I think it started with Twilight Masquerade. Once we saw that Greninja card, it was rising in value really quick after the set came out. I think that kind of changed people's perspective a little bit on Scarlet and Violet. It was the first like chase card that actually had some substantial value to it. And I think that slowly started to move things. But then obviously Surging Sparks went crazy. I mean, I remember getting booster box cases pre-ordered. It was like $100 a box at the time. And you know, obviously that set exploded. There's been a little bit of fluctuation with Surging Sparks since then. And then we really rolled from like Surging Sparks into Prismatic, and that just really amplified things. And it just, stuff hasn't slowed down. We haven't been able to find stuff on shelves. You know, you go to your Walmarts, your Targets, there's just nothing there. Everything is gone. Even like the pre-made decks, everything is gone, right? So it's been an absolutely wild ride. So I kind of want to just touch on everything. We'll get back to the market in a second. Before we do that, I just wanted to talk about Legends ZA just for a second, just because I've been playing it a lot and I feel like it's kind of a hot topic. So just my 2 cents on Legends ZA. And there's been, I think, a lot of very valid, but also sometimes very harsh criticism when it comes to the game, as far as like the graphics, which, you know, I admit they're not the best. I have been playing on Switch 2, not Switch 1. So I don't know what the Switch 1 version does look like. The Switch 2 version, you know, there's all those flat surfaces, the graphics aren't the best. And you know, maybe the city isn't the biggest. I will admit that as well. And I think those are very valid criticisms. They make enough money, the Pokemon franchise. They definitely could do better. They could put more money into these games, and they really should. So I totally support, and I'm behind all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm having a lot of fun playing the game, and I think a lot of other people are as well. It's not the best Pokemon game I've ever played, but it's fun. And also keep in mind, I didn't play Arceus. So that's actually one I'm going to go back to and play. So it'll be interesting to kind of compare. But I haven't played Arceus, so this is like the first time for me with the new battle system, and I've enjoyed, you know, the way that you have to go and capture the Pokemon. I think that's more fun. I like being able to move around. It's more like ADHD friendly, if you will, you know, getting away from the turn-based. So, and I totally understand why they would want to do that. And, you know, I could see how this might be the future of, you know, how the games kind of evolve down the road. I think it appeals to more people. Not everyone wants to do a turn-based RPG. So, you know, I totally get that. I would say, if I'm being completely honest, I'd give the game around an 8 out of 10 just because of how much fun I've been having. Now, I haven't finished it yet. I think I'm like 15 to 18 hours in. So I've been putting some good amount of hours in. I've been trying not to just like blow through it, and just kind of enjoy it. I haven't played the DLC. I don't know anything about the DLC. That's another point that people have been dogging on. They have paid DLC out the gate. Yeah, that is a negative. I agree. They shouldn't have done that. Should have just either been included in the game, or they should have released it after. It feels like, you know, just a cash grab from Pokemon, which clearly it is. So I don't know if I'm going to go with the DLC yet, but I've just been having fun playing the game. I do like jumping from rooftop to rooftop. Once you get the Rotom glide, you know, that, you know, levels up the traversal a bit. I've been enjoying that. So overall, you know, I think it's a fun game. And I think it came out at a good time. We have obviously the Mega Evolution block happening now. We got Mega Base, that's out. And then next up we have Phantasmal Flames in less than a month. So super excited. I can't wait to see what the next sets are going to be in the Mega Evolution block. And once we get those reveals, I'm very excited for that. So I think that, you know, them changing out of Scarlet and Violet and going to this Mega block to pair with this game was a good move. I think a lot of people are invested in the Mega cards now. I will say too, you know, there's a lot more Pokemon that I am more invested in after playing the game, that I might want to collect their cards now. So obviously, you know, their marketing is working as far as that goes. So I think that bodes well. So, you know, the game's been fun. If people don't like it, if people absolutely hate it, I understand why. It's just, I've just been enjoying it, you know, but as a pretty hardcore Pokemon fan, you know, not surprised that I've been enjoying it. So it does make sense. It's been a fun like palate cleanser from the regular games, if you will. So I've been enjoying it. That's my pretty much my thoughts on ZA. It's a fun game. I think if you're on the fence about it, I would say try it. Definitely check it out. Next up, something I wanted to talk about, and I know it is related to the current market as well, and we're gonna get back to that, but I wanted to talk about vintage cards, because right now I'm at this point where there's so much going on, and vintage. There's a lot of vintage that's up. Vintage is up, depending on what you look at. A lot of vintage is up pretty big, and vintage for me is where all my nostalgia is. I want all of these cards. I want first editions. And I've slowly been working on adding some of those to my personal collection, and that's been a fun journey. It's kind of a love-hate with vintage just because of how expensive it is. When I got back into the hobby more recently and saw how expensive vintage was, that's what like just really broke my heart for how expensive things are. Sealed packs, obviously, like, booster boxes, depending on what set, can be very, very expensive. But just the cards themselves, just wanting to like relive my childhood, get a lot of those cards I never even had, stuff like that. It's been a little bit of it's like a pro and a con, right? So I've been enjoying getting some of these cards, and then, one of the bad things, if you'll see behind me, is I do like graded cards. So once you get into graded vintage, then stuff's really expensive. So I think right now I'm at a good spot. I'm slowly acquiring some vintage. I've limited myself to kind of like, for vintage stuff, I'll settle for PSA 9s. And I think that's been a good like boundary for me to set, because PSA 10 pricing on some stuff is just absolutely absurd. And I've been able to pick up some stuff that I'm really proud of, and I have some more stuff coming in that I just picked up recently from eBay. Maybe we'll talk about that when it comes in. But I'm very excited about where vintage is at. I feel like every time I go back and I look at some stuff, there's always like a few cards that I didn't remember, and I go, oh yeah, that's really cool. So I'm at a place right now where I'm very excited about vintage, and I don't think that's going to go away. I think vintage is more of just like a really long-term goal for me. But if you're new to the channel, I've said this many times, but we'll just briefly touch on it. Vintage and how expensive it is why I got into sealed product, collecting or investing in sealed, however you want to look at it, is why I wanted to pick up sealed, because I saw how much sealed could go up, and then I could, at the time, too, I wasn't caring that much about collecting sealed. That's something that happened later. And I wanted to be able to get those expensive vintage cards, but not have to like pay or feel like I'm paying the full price. So that's what started me really into my sealed collecting. But then over the years now, I've really enjoyed having the sealed boxes. One of the biggest things too was I had a really hard time, like I wanted to open everything. So when I was first getting in, that was very difficult. I'm at a point now where I think I've got a lot of self-control when it comes to the sealed product. So when stuff comes in, I don't really have an urge to rip it. I just appreciate it. I put it up on the wall, or I have another display case behind the camera you guys can't see, and I put it on display, and I really just enjoy it. The only thing that is really a downer when it comes to sealed product currently, I think, is like sealed cases. Because, I do have some sealed cases, and they just suck to display. You can't even see the boxes. It's just cardboard. So that's like one that does really suck. So yeah, that's my little rant on sealed, why I got into it, and kind of where I'm at now. I have been appreciating it more. And I didn't really expect that initially. I thought, the sealed stuff, I'll just flip and sell and whatever, and then I'll get the cards that I want. But I like the sealed now. The sealed's fun. It's a new aspect. And that's part of what also this video is about. It's about a lot of things, but it's about all the different ways you can enjoy the hobby. And there are so many good sets coming out right now. Scarlet and Violet was so good. Mega has kicked off so good. There's like Japanese sets have been good. We've had so many like look at the Chinese exclusive cards that we've been getting. Oh, they've just been absolutely stunning. So there's just so much. And that brings me back to another thing I've been getting into more recently, which is master setting, which is something I hadn't really done in the past. And right now, I am working on a Destined Rivals master set, which stuff's very expensive for that set. That's rather unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm working on it slower. some cards have been dropping, and that's been nice. I've been picking up some of those cards. Some cards have been rising, and I've just been really enjoying. I'm also working on Scarlet Violet base master set now. I got a few other ones as well. Celebrations is an easy one that I almost have done, and so it's been really nice to just also go on eBay, just maybe check out some auctions of stuff that's ending soon, try and pick up a card here or there, especially when you're working on several master sets, and then also like some of the battles just to find some of these reverse like commons has been kind of interesting and fun. And there's been people who have reached out, who have sent me cards, and then you ask and then you're trading, and that's been just like a really fun aspect. So right now I've been enjoying a lot when it comes to the market. I've been branching out, right? So sealed, master set, graded. I have an order at PSA, which is taking forever. So I can't wait to get that back. I'm really excited about that. I want to send another order out to PSA, but I got to wait a little bit longer. I got to get a few more cards ready. But that brings me back to, sorry, I have a list of stuff I'm trying to get through. So that's kind of what I've been enjoying. And it has me thinking like what I've been missing a little bit as far as like, because I haven't been able to rip that much product. It's been hard to justify ripping product when it's so expensive. And I think that's the worst part of the current market is like, even when you finally score something at MSRP, for example, a booster box, whatever set, right? But say you get a booster box at $160, but you know that it's already worth over 300 plus, and it just hurts to rip it. And then, so that aspect has been taken out. So I miss the bear market. And I understand that the bear market wasn't healthy. That was bad. That was low. Booster boxes were $80, $90 in early Scarlet and Violet if you were around. But I miss those times for that aspect. It didn't hurt your wallet as much to be able to rip. So I miss that. But moving forward off of like kind of how I see things is I miss the bear market. Bear market was down here. Bull market crazy high. I think that eventually things are going to come down. And right now we're seeing some stagnation. I would call it more of a correction currently. But I think the future of where we're at is probably more in the middle. And I think that's a good thing. It's probably closer to MSRP, plus or minus, maybe depending on the quality of the set. But back here at $80 a booster box, that's not good. $300 a booster box at release, that's not good. So maybe the reality is we meet in the middle at MSRP. Like I said, plus or minus, I think that's where I'd like to see things. I'd be a lot happier there. Also, if stuff was a little bit more available as far as like on the shelf, able to pick stuff up. So the current state of the market is just everything is like hyper, I don't want to say hyper inflated per se, but hyper accelerated. Stuff has just been moving so much faster than it would, where like boxes would take years to get to these points and now they're taking months. And so that's the scary part. And also the other things to keep in mind, there are so many new people coming into the market, into the hobby every single day, right? So we're growing at a crazy rate, right? Where I do think it's similar to kind of what happened during the COVID boom, but I think it's different. I think this is more sustainable. I think people are there's definitely been people bouncing off, right? And rightfully so. People being frustrated. It sucks. I get why people come in and they bounce off. It makes sense. If you weren't already in, it's kind of hard to justify like getting in right now. It can be very difficult. But I do think that off of that, there are ways that you can get in. I think you just have to be more patient, right? You have to really work for it. You have to try and score on those drops, right? Your Pokemon Center drops, your Walmart, Target, whatever it may be. Score your stuff at MSRP and just be happy with what you get at the new release. And then just you kind of keep waiting for the new set. Get what you can get at MSRP or close to it, and then just move on from there. So if you have enough patience, I think there is a way to kind of navigate it, but I think a lot of people might be lacking that kind of current patience. So the current state of the market, I don't like at all. I hate where we're at. I hate how expensive stuff it is. It does feel nice sometimes to be like, oh well, this Lost Origin booster box that I got on the Pokemon Center at MSRP is $700-800 now. Like sometimes that's nice, but I'd rather have that be less and have the whole market be cooled off a little bit more and a little bit more accessible. So there's that's just most of my frustration, right? And probably everyone's, right? It's a very, very valid common point, right? I'm not saying anything groundbreaking there. I acknowledge that, right? So a little bit of this is just for me to like vent a little as well. So I think that's most of my thoughts on the kind of like the current state of the market and where things are at. On the back of that, I want to say that I think sometimes we should maybe normalize or just be okay with like saying maybe we don't know sometimes. Like, is it okay to say that? Just from time to time, we don't have to say it about everything. You don't want to be like, "Oh, I have no idea about anything ever." But I just mean like sometimes, like, "Ah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this current state of the market because we don't. Pokemon has changed. If you followed, what Pokemon has done in the past, and you followed that to the T, you get burnt on a lot of things now because they're not reprinting booster boxes the same. They're just not. Now that doesn't mean that they can't next year flip the script and just reprint a ton of booster boxes. But like right now, if you want to collect booster boxes like I do, you're gonna have to pay these higher prices. It's just the reality of where it's at. So you can't always wait months after the set releases for the boxes to fall currently. At least when it comes to booster boxes, there's obviously different things happening there. So current state of the market, very frustrating, but at the same time, kind of exciting. It can be exciting when you hit big. Like, I did finally hit on a Walmart pre-order for Phantasmal Flames. Very excited for that. So that's fun. At the same time, when it comes in, that stuff's going to be expensive. So I'm gonna have a hard. I'm gonna open some. Right. I'm very excited to open some. I am gonna chase that Charizard. Something I haven't really done too much is like in the past for a chase card that I want. Usually and statistically, it would make more sense just to buy the card. It's going to save you money. But for that Charizard, I really want to pull it. So it might be one of those ones that I chase for a long time until I finally pull it. Hopefully the pull rates are generous. So that's another thing I'm excited for, but also scared for, right? And I think that's a good summary for this market. You're excited and scared at the same time. There's just so much going on. So yeah, and I think it is important to say sometimes we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen into the future. I don't think things are. I don't currently think things are going to slow down moving into the 30th and into next year. I think it's going to take a little while, and it's going to be a slower fall. So yeah, I wouldn't be panicked with what stuff is dropping right now. It's not dropping very much. There are some promos that we've talked about recently that are dropping pretty big percentage wise, but I think after seeing crazy growth and you see them drop 40%, it's like it's not that big of a deal. So maybe maybe they were undervalued, then they were overvalued. Maybe they're coming back down to earth a little. So just when it comes to stuff like that, that's kind of my perspective. Next up, another aspect that I've been enjoying is, and not everybody has this, and I wish I had more, but it's friends in the hobby, because I have some friends recently, two friends who recently got into Pokemon who haven't been into Pokemon, one ever, right, is new into Pokemon, doesn't have any nostalgia for it, but it's been fun to kind of like see it through his eyes, and then another friend who's just who liked Pokemon but never really played the games, never really collected too much, and is getting into it. So it's kind of fun just when new people come in, and trading and being able to give them some cards that they really appreciate, and Christmas is coming up, so Christmas shopping, for some singles that they might like, stuff like that. So it's been really fun. That's been another aspect I've really been enjoying, is the friends trading, just appreciating collecting more, right? And sometimes it takes somebody who's just getting into the hobby. You appreciate even those commons and those uncommons, or low value illustration rare, because it's not always about the money, right? And they appreciate that a little bit more, and it kind of rubs off on you. So I think I'm kind of getting that a little bit. So a little secondhand appreciation of some of those other cards that I maybe took for granted. So that's been kind of a fun thing. And then next up, off of the back of Legends ZA, playing that, how much I've been enjoying it. It's been actually making me want to go back, and I'm thinking about possibly purchasing a DS or 3DS, probably 3DS, and playing some of those older DS games and just kind of going back through those. There's a few I haven't played, but I have played most of them. So that'll be fun to go back and really play through some of those again. I'm very excited for that. So that's something that I'm probably going to do. I don't know. I might wait. I might not do it till next year, like maybe January. I kind of start that goal. But you know, that's just another thing. And like also real quick, like rant off of that. How come we can't play all of these old games on the like this? I'll pay extra, right? We'll pay extra on the Switch. We're already paying for if you have the Nintendo Plus, whatever it's called, you know, to play some of these old Game Boy games, Super Nintendo N64 stuff like that. Why aren't the Pokemon games on there? Why can't we get DS stuff on there too? It's not that hard. They're just emulators. Anyways, Nintendo is kind of like, that's one that blows my mind. It's like, if you want to make money off it, just charge and people will pay it. Because, you know, that does lead to a lot of people pirating and emulating games because they're hard to acquire. So anyways, but yeah, I do kind of want to have the feel. So I think I am actually going to get a DS. So that'll be fun. Yeah, so sorry, I do apologize too if this is a little bit longer of a rant video. Just kind of a different thing that we're doing today. So two more things to talk about. Lastly, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if you've been around the channel for a while, a year ago, I ran into some health issues when I was traveling to Japan. I was shaking really bad. I know if you go back and watch some of my older videos, some card openings, my hands shaking. I ended up having something called Graves' disease, which is a thyroid issue. Long story short, I went on meds to correct that. And then the meds actually went the other way. So I went from an overactive thyroid to, and then my thyroid wasn't doing anything. And so I went completely the other way. I was super sleepy. I was having a hard time staying awake. And now I am in remission from that. So, you know, it's not like a thing I really want to talk about too much, but, you know, there's some of you that have been vocal about that in the past. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an update of just that I'm feeling better. I am in remission as far as that goes. So that's exciting. It can come back. So I just have to keep an eye on it. It can be brought on by stress, apparently. So I gotta stay, keep my stress levels down. So yeah, very excited about that. I'm very appreciative to be healthy. You really appreciate your health after you've just like lost and gone through a rough time. You don't really appreciate it until you like start to deteriorate a little bit. So I'm feeling good. And then lastly, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has watched, liked, commented, subscribed in this past year. Like obviously the channel, I'm not a fool. The channel has seen a lot of growth because of the market, because there's more people coming in, because of the attention. So I am very appreciative of that. And I can't wait. We've done videos every single day for over a year now. And we're going to keep doing it for the foreseeable future. I don't know when we're going to stop doing a video every single day, but as long as I can do them, I'm going to continue to make them because I've been enjoying it. And it helps me learn more about the market. You know, there's just so much stuff to always talk about. So thank you to all of you guys who have supported. Most of the comments are usually always kind and nice. There's always a few stinkers out there. But for the most part, the comments have been nice. And I really appreciate that. The support has been overwhelming. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys in this one. It was a different video. It's probably going to do bad, which is fine. You know, there's other videos, like I wouldn't mind doing more stuff like this. That was a little more just like ranty monologue stuff, but I'd like to do more box opening videos. Those videos do horrible, you know, and it's not always about the views, but you know, with YouTube, with the algorithm, you're always like, they have you chasing this, they make you feel real bad. Like when you look at the analytics, if you don't do good. So, anyways, that's all I have. Maybe we'll branch out and do some more stuff, in the future. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys in this one. If you guys have noticed, there's a fly in here. So I'm out of here to kill this fly. He's been bugging me. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.